everybody. It's us, the Wine Ladies.
I'm Georgia.
And I'm Suzanne, and welcome to Talking Wine with the Stars. Now we've got an unbelievable guest with us. We've got Richard Crouse. He is the film critic for Canada AM. He's got his own radio show on CFRB, and you also are a columnist as well, I think?
Yeah, for Metro. I've written a bunch of books on film.
Wow.
I like to keep busy.
You do indeed. Yeah, and you also have your own
a TV show
on a radio show, on a radio station, don't you?
Well, yeah, well, it's shot in a radio station.
Yes.
My TV show, Richard Crouses Movie show, which is on the Independent Film Channel, is actually shot in the same studio that I do my radio show at CFRB.
Yeah.
So you're covering all mediums, radio,
I'm trying
TV,
to.
movies, everything.
Howard Stern's not the only sort of king of all media. I'm giving him a good run for his money, I think.
So how are things going at TIFF so far, being the opening day?
Well, it's early days, yeah. I mean, today is a sort of a catch-up day. It's a day that I'm trying to confirm all the interviews. It's a day that I'm seeing movies. I've already seen some movies today. I saw the new George Clooney movie, the new Lars von Trier film. And today is sort of a bookkeeping day. Tomorrow, you know, being Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are the crunch time. That's when, for some reason, every festival, whether I go to the Cannes Film Festival or wherever it is, all festivals are front-loaded, so that first weekend is ridiculous. So everything's going to happen in 4 days, and then it's going to be sort of pleasant from that point on.
Okay.
So how many movies would you see in a day, in a particular day?
It depends. I mean, I've been screening for weeks now, so I see everything in advance. So I've seen probably 25 movies already. And then today I saw a couple of more. I'll see at least one more today, maybe two. And during the rest of the festival, as I say, that first weekend is so jam-packed with interviews that I probably won't see anything for the next 3 or 4 days. And then as the festival kind of winds down and I have a bit more time, I'll see 1 or 2, depending, 3 on a good day.
And how was George Clooney's movie?
George Clooney's movie is great. He's got 2 here. I saw The Men Who Stare at Goats, the one with the weird title that no one understands what it means.
What does it mean?
Yeah, you know what? I don't really want to tell you because it'll give away something. It's so much fun to figure out what it means. Like I thought going in, I thought this is a ridiculous title. Why? You know, why saddle a movie with a title that doesn't mean anything to the average goer? It's kind of hard to understand, to remember. Then when you see the movie, it's like it's the perfect title. But I think it's better if you find out organically what it's all about because it's really funny and it's not anything that you could possibly imagine. So I say check that one out. It's one of the sort of, so far, that movie's been one of the pleasures of the festival for me.
So that's with George Clooney in it.
That's with George Clooney, Ewan McGregor, and Jeff Bridges, so it's a pretty high-level cast there. But I've seen, as I say, I've seen lots and lots and lots of movies so far.
So any Oscar contenders, do you think?
I think so. I mean, there's a movie called Precious, which if you want to be that person in, you know, November, December, when they start, you know, the Oscar buzz starts to happen and they start to announce, you know, the winners and nominees for awards time, go see a movie now called Precious, because if you want to be that person that says, I saw it before, go see that one now. And it's an unlikely one. I mean, it's produced by Oprah, so it's got a higher profile than it would normally have had, because it's a small movie about a young girl lives in Harlem. She's 16. She's pregnant for the second time. The father is her own father, and so it's a story about domestic abuse and sexual abuse and every other kind of abuse that you can possibly imagine. It is the best movie you'll only ever want to see one time, and probably one time only, but I think that the scene that's going to get this particular actress a nomination is a scene that she has with Mariah Carey, of all people, who's really terrific in the film. And the actress in question is a woman named... Mariah Carey's in it. Unrecognizable, though. She has a different nose. They put a new nose on her. Her hair is a different color, and there's no makeup. So she's it's a much different thing. And she's really particularly good in this movie. It's a smaller role. But it's a woman named Monique who's probably going to get nominated for an Academy Award. And, you know, it's interesting with Monique because she has made a career of appearing in movies like Beer Fest and Soul Plane as a comedian.
What a departure.
Doing really kind of lowbrow humor. And I mean, she's very funny, but you would not have imagined her in this role, and she's terrific.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
I have a question. Obviously, we're the wine ladies, and we're talking about wine and film. What has the influence of wine been in films, would you say?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, movies like The Big Night, any movie that sort of revolves around food often revolves around wine as well. And if you think back to the festival just a few years ago, Sideways, of course, made a huge splash. That was my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie of that year. You know, Paul Giamatti, and I interviewed the cast for that movie, and Paul Giamatti told me who plays, you know, he plays the wine snob, the guy in that movie.
Pinot Noir.
He is the one responsible for sinking the sails of Merlot and putting Pinot Noir on the pedestal.
Sinking the Merlot scene is my single favorite scene in that movie. But I shouldn't repeat the line that he says. But I interviewed him about that movie, and he said, "Yeah, I don't drink wine really. I'm more of a Schlitz guy. He's not a wine guy in real life at all."
He was so convincing.
Absolutely,
yes, that was great.
Wow, he had all the wine speak down back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, he was terrific in that.
I have to say one thing. I now like that in the movie theaters that there are places where you could have a glass of wine and enjoy a movie. Finally, civilization.
There's a place in Austin, Texas called the Alamo Draft House, which is one of the great movie theaters in the U.S. And they serve full meals and they serve drinks and things. And you know, it's a good example of a place that actually works in, because one of the fears for people who really love movies and serious moviegoers is you don't want drunk people in the audience talking to the screen. You don't want waiters walking through serving people. You don't want people going up and down to the bathroom because they've been drinking all night. So, but the Alamo does it right. It's sort of stadium seating. So there's never a head bobbing in front of you. And they have a couple of signs that they play at the beginning of every movie that says, if you're drunk, get the hell out. If you want to make noise, get the hell out. You know, and so I love that. Yeah, it really does. And it's a really great example of a place that has figured it out. I mean, there's lots of great movie theaters. I go to a place called the ArcLight in Los Angeles quite often when I'm down there working. The ArcLight's amazing. You can't drink there, but they've got great food. And so they've got it kind of half figured out.
They've got it half right.
Yeah. Now, have you seen any films yet that have really knocked your socks off besides the one?
Besides Precious and the George Clooney, are two sort of really high on the list. There's a movie called Daybreakers, which isn't going to revolutionize filmmaking in any way, but it's a really fun vampire movie. And vampires are so hot right now with True Blood and Twilight, and and this is another story about vampires mainstreaming themselves into regular society, but they're running out of human blood.
Oh dear.
So they have to try and find a cure to either they have to find a solution, some sort of synthetic blood, or they've got to find a way for them maybe to exist without it. It's a really fun. It's like a great B movie with lots of thrills and chills. It's a lot of fun. So I've enjoyed that one.
I need to ask a little bit about celebrity. Obviously, you've interviewed everybody out there. Yeah. Who is the most intriguing celebrity you've ever interviewed?
Intriguing? There's been a number, like Woody Allen would be certainly one of them. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of press. He doesn't talk to reporters very often. And he's so smart and so interesting. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. So Woody Allen was definitely one that would be, way up in the top, maybe two in my career looking back. Francis Ford Coppola is another one. I like directors. I find directors, by and large, are better interviews. They're sort of they've been with their projects a little bit longer. They haven't had as much media training as actors, so that they don't.
They're real.
They're real.
Totally real.
So so people like Woody Allen, Francis Ford Coppola, a real pleasure to talk to.
Tarantino, I understand you really favor.
Yeah, I do. I really favor Quentin Tarantino. I just hosted the Canadian premiere of Inglourious Basterds, his last film, and he's amazing. Yeah, Tarantino. I've interviewed him a number of times, and when I brought him out on stage for this Canadian premiere, it was
crazy.
Man, it was. Well, we had two theaters jam-packed at a theater here in Toronto. So we had about probably 800 or 1,000 people between the two theaters. And so we had to do everything twice, right? Go back and forth. And each time when I brought him out, it was as though I just said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis." And because he'd bring him out, and people just went crazy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we have to go and see that one for sure, too.
And I have to remark on Richard's fabulous look, too, with the glasses and the hair and very nice.
It's easy. People think I spend a lot of time on it, and I so totally don't. Yeah,
we haven't had a sip of our wine yet.
To the film festival.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thanks for having me.